in the Eastern time zone, but it's really dark when you're talking about the Middle East. I'm David Solomon. He's Stuart Brisgell. Welcome back to the Rant Network, where we're diving into today, especially completely raw and unfiltered issues. We usually span news, pop culture, politics, and beyond, but today's focus is on humanity. Whether we're going to be dissecting the most absurd thing that possibly ever happened in the 21st century, and God knows from when. So please, we're going to keep it really real, but let's get into it right away. Stuart, one of the things that, on Monday, I went off. And I got to tell you, we got a lot of people who came up to me afterwards and said, we put into words the feelings that they could not express, the anger, the disappointment, the shock. Yesterday, my shock returned. When I heard that Hamas, the beasts, the animals of humanity, and I won't even give them that proper term, slaughtered, maimed, beheaded 40 babies. Babies! One of the most disgusting and heinous acts. The Russians might have done a lot in the Ukraine, but this crosses all lines. And Stuart, yet we're hearing from politicians, Hollywood actors, unions, universities, that it's all Israel's fault and Israel brought this upon themselves. Stuart, to what depths of disgust can people go to?
First of all, I'd like any mother or father that lets the podcast play in the car. There'll be a lot of sensitive conversation today. So, if you are a human being and you can imagine a machete sawing off the head of an infant and not be in shock, if you are a person that saw a knife like Rambo and saw the head off of a child, if you are a person that can mutilate a baby, then you are not a person. Yesterday, as news broke, as I'm sitting in one of my attorney's offices, 40 babies beheaded. Now, none of you can imagine what this is. Not even I. I can't imagine. It's like poker chips in a casino. They take the cash out of your hand and give you chips. You can't even relate to the atrocities of this type of mass murder. 1,200 people murdered in their houses, women, children, elderly, without any regard to human life. The most barbaric act next to and equivalent to neo-Nazis of 1939. I have never felt this passionate about this issue or the facts surrounding this issue. And if you are in New York or if you're in Michigan, send this to your representative. I challenge you, Cori Bush, Rashid Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, AOC, and others, to a debate over facts. Free Palestine. Hang a Palestinian flag. How dare you? How dare you? It's no different than hanging a Nazi flag inside Congress. You're an animal representing animals. I would ask the American government to investigate your finances. Where does the funds come to support you? Because only a barbarian would support such mutilation of human life. It is unimaginable. Democrat, Republican, Russian, Chinese, to the likes of this mutilation have never come close. And I challenge those Ukrainians that have suffered immense hardship and death suffered the same fate at the same level. 40 babies lost their heads. They weren't enemy combatants. They weren't imperial that invaded a land. They're not occupying a land. It is the land of Israel. It has been the land of Israel since before a single Muslim existed for thousands of years. The Jews and Muslims have lived in peace and in hardship for thousands of years without this type of insanity. And this type of insanity is raging now. From the Jordan to the sea, they want to eradicate Jews. Syria, Lebanon, Iran, Iraq. The people stuck in Gaza and the West Bank, they're not stuck. They can leave. They can go into Jordan. They can go into Syria, Iran, Iraq, Egypt. They can flee the persecution into hundreds of other countries. Is it their homeland? David, give us the elevator version of the history of Palestine, Syria.
Listen, Stuart, let me help those haters. Ladies and gentlemen, the notion of a Palestinian Arabs didn't exist until the early 20th century. That's thanks to the British. The name Palestine was a Roman name. The letter P isn't even in the Arabic language. It's a made-up thing. And this whole notion of, oh, we need to give the Palestinians their homeland because they've been there for centuries, that people like Gigi Hadid, other liars have said, it's false. Do your homework. The notion of a Palestinian Arabs only emerged in the 20th century thanks to the British. Because if you looked at the British census when they took over in 1919, there were hardly any Arabs. There were some Jews, but there was no Palestine. There was no Palestinian Arabs. There was no government. There's no cultures, no history. Please. But yet, the teachers' union at McMaster University blames Israel. Harvard University Student Association, 30 student associations got together, blamed Israel. You have actors blaming Israel. You have politicians, you named a few, the squad, blaming Israel. You have people posting on social media hate, blaming Israel. Israel brought this upon themselves. I mean, the notion that you think that there were 1,500 dead Hamas terrorists in Israel. That's how many they caught. Were sent across the border to capture, kill innocent young ladies, men, children, seniors, you name it. Raped, pillaged, to slaughter over 200 kids in a concert is vile. And thank God, there are some sane people. And I hate to say this, and I normally crap all over President Biden, but thank God, President Biden is finally on the right side of history with this, where he says he stands shoulder to shoulder with Israel. Unwavering support for Israel. You have actors who are crossing the picket line, if you will, with their own actors, threatening their careers, because that's how it works in Hollywood, to defy normal thinking that Israel is finally a victim here. They are a victim. And to hear politicians who've normally criticized Israel saying this crosses the line. And yet, Stuart, the problem is, and I don't blame all the people, because there are media houses that are still refusing to call Hamas a terrorist organization. Could you imagine? The Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, a liberal funded media, and I mean big L, not little l, big L, Trudeau cronies continue to fund the CBC, and internally them and the British Broadcasting Corporation, the BBC, both have said in internal emails, do not call them terrorists. It's not a fact. It's only an opinion by politicians. This is the level of depravity that you find in the media. When you have an MSNBC who interviews all the anti-Semites it could possibly interview, Jonathan Goldblatt, who is a socialist, head of the Anti-Defamation League, a gentleman who, frankly, I don't agree with his politics, was on MSNBC and for 3 minutes vilified MSNBC for its false reporting. Imagine. He loves the station. He said it. I love your station. But you people have gone along. You're false. Your reporting is false. Your information is false. So, Stuart, is there any wonder in 2023, with all the information we have, with the bullshit bloggers out there, the lies that are out there, is there anyone, and thank you to the algorithms in social media who continue to populate hate? Oh, yes, the fingers are being pointed at X or Twitter. Yes, Elon Musk is the worst criminal in the world. But no one is criticizing Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook for permitting other types of false news to be distributed or any other social media. Stuart, it's polluted with hate and it's polluted with false information. Look at the images. Look at the videos. What human being goes out and slaughters 40 babies? What human being kills over 200 kids at a concert? Bono from U2 changed the lyrics to his song to support Israel. He says it's inhumane what goes on. These are the people I want to listen. Even Gigi Hadid, who I've had tremendous problems with, has had to force herself to ask, is this how we want to achieve a state? When you hear folks free Palestine, it doesn't mean they want a state. It means they want to eradicate Jews. In Melbourne, in one of the protests, they yelled, gas the Jews. This is what free Palestine means. It doesn't mean a second state.
They've had the opportunity of a second state since Yasser Arafat from Egypt. By the way, Yasser Arafat, an Egyptian, not a person who is related to anything in Syria, Palestine, or Israel. An Egyptian terrorist. I want you to remember as we recap and close this session off. I challenge you, Rashid Tlaib, to an online Zoom debate. You're a seasoned politician, well-financed, and became a millionaire in the American dream. I'm a poor schmuck in South Florida. I challenge you, AOC. I challenge you, Cory Booker. You're disgusting human beings.
Cory Bush. But Stuart, you know what the sad part is? Stuart, they won't, not only will they not debate you, but I challenge anybody
to debate
come challenge me or Stuart, because you don't have the facts. You have propaganda in your head. And thanks to your propaganda, thanks to you distributing the propaganda, there are over 1,000 dead Jews in Israel slaughtered because of your help to push this propaganda through. That's what you've caused. The blood, I blame Biden and I blame other Western leaders, but those of you who are passing that propaganda, the blood of my brothers and sisters and cousins and family in Israel are on your hands. Never forget it. That's it, folks. We're done for today. We'll be back on Friday and more than likely continuing this argument and this anger because this doesn't seem to want to go away. Share this with social media as this on Monday. Thank you to all those who shared it. We really do appreciate it. We do appreciate your feedback. Until Friday, let's keep this dialogue.